I'm going in the Red Dragon to attend our annual Bean Pickers reunion, started by Grace Biviano many years ago. Not a nice sunny day. This would have been probably about the end of the bean picking season, September. Kids would have had to go back to school, people working. Butch Manich, the owner of the Red Dragon here, he was a fellow East Ender. He went picking beans one day, and after that one day, he realized that he was better suited for the restaurant business. So he didn't go back, but we did, and we enjoyed it. We're happy that we did it now, and get together and reminisce. Some of the people are pretty old too. One lady's over 100, my aunt's 96. I'm 81, so I'm kind of a youngster to this group. Well, here we go. Bean pickers. Peas harvest. All set peas. Hey, John, how you doing?
Yes, they went to Ireland.
Gang's all here, huh? Johnny Aloy. How you doing, Johnny? How you doing, Johnny?
Yeah.
They wanted me to do some videoing here today.
Argentina does. Last year, this time,
An old bean picker from the East End.
Yeah.
Tony Camillo. They wanted me to do the videoing here because the lady couldn't make it this year, so I'll put you on. Facebook.
You're the video man?
Yeah, right.
Oh, good.
The old days.
Hi,
Huh? Yeah, well, right now. Hello. How you doing, Arla?
Not used to public speaking.
Yeah, I know, right. Old East Ender, Bartlett Ave. We used to meet and go pick beans. Fred Sergio's grocery store. That was your grandfather, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
They're in Camazo, right in the corner.
Yeah. And everybody down there, Ronnie Falso, Danny Baguini, Pete Testa.
Yeah.
And,
You know who I remember the most? I'll never forget Tony, the Anthony's from Genevieve.
oh, Mo Genovese, yeah.
And I remember him sitting on the curb one morning, and it was like this. It was one of those muggy mornings.
Yeah.
And the spot was running.
Yeah.
And one of the Cifanelli boys running into the house, I can't remember who it was, might have been Dickie, ran into the house and got a big jug of water. I remember him drinking that. I remember that. It's like it was yesterday.
Mo Genovese, he was so handsome, you know, and just like, remember Sammy Diane that came here to pick beans from
I do.
Scranton, Pennsylvania? Him and Joe Gillette.
Yep. I remember that crew. Well, wasn't Sammy? There was one of them that got in a hell of a lot of trouble.
Sammy Diane met a girl that was like a socialite, and I think they ended up in one of those magazines, those crime magazines. I think they killed her father and mother.
Yeah,
or something
I think
like
that, because it was, her picture was on the page of one of those rags that come out of New York. New York News or something like that.
I know, that was a shame. Both of them guys. And Mo, he died young.
Yeah.
I'm going to move around now.
Okay.
Here they got their chow, Sundays.
Well, he said he'd call me back.
Hello again, John. Oh, you're in a big speech. Right. Well, I'm taking his place. Great. Hi, girl. Hey, Steve.
Yeah,
I'm going to interview you again. Yeah, let me get back here.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I'm going to interview you again. They put you right on the
I
front.
didn't realize they were taking
I
that.
know. They put you right on the front there.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good. Yeah, there's the old cans, huh?
Oh, gee, let me straighten those up.
You had to watch out for the...
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Not yet.
So,
There's Nicoline. Hello, Nicoline. They want me to do some videoing, so I'm going to put you on there.
I think there's a guy with a newspaper.
Did you both work for David Harum or Halstead? You were David Harum, right?
His first name. Arduini, the lady that was talking to me. Mary.
M-A-R-Y.
Where did Nicoline work? At Halstead? Did you work at Halstead? Oh, David Harum. I thought you were, yeah.
This 1 year I work here, but then I was in Homer all the time.
Oh, yeah,
I like Homer.
Canning factory.
Well, I done the canning, I done in and clean up, I done everything.
Now, Quandan are you now? You're about what, 98? You 97? 97. Angie's 96. I'm the youngster, 81. I'm like the baby of the family.
But you know that video you had on was wonderful.
What?
That video you had on was wonderful.
Oh, the John Boston?
Yeah. But you made me tired. But you know, tired because you're working so hard.
I remember when they
But you
came
know what? Excuse me. When you got through and you sat down to eat, I said, good. I was so tired to see that.
Yeah. Well, that's the way the dog was. I did all the work and the dog was sleeping on the floor.
Mickey, he was about 3 years old. And he was on the corner with his father.
Hello, Ada. Your
that's
mother's
quite all
telling,
right. That's
your
quite all
mother's
right.
telling that story again when I was 2 years old. Yeah.
He had a nice little suit. And I said, oh, what a cute little girl.
I ought to mingle around here. They wanted me to do this video. Can't get off the phone. How you doing?
How you doing?
I see you every year. Good. You were from the south end, right? They want me to do the videoing here. Yeah. Did you pick when Mush was picking?
Yeah.
When Mush? Yeah.
I was only about 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in the corner from Mush.
That's it, yeah. He was our coach, John Masicek, yeah.
Right.
Now, was he Ukrainian or Russian? Was he Ukrainian or Russian?
Russian.
Russian? Is that what you are? Is that what,
They were all Russian.
is that what you are?
Yeah. I remember his father.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We had quite a few Russians on the south side.
I know, yeah.
Plus the Italians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had all kinds up there. You had the Italians, the Syrians, the Polish.
Right.
Yeah. Down the east end, we had just Italians.
Railroad Street used to be a lot of Syrians.
Oh, yeah, a lot of Syrians. Lebanese and Syrians. Yeah, right. We just had the Italians and the Mexicans.
Yeah, right.
Okay, they want me to video this time because the lady that usually does it can't make it today. So I'm going to make everybody a star here on the computer.
My mother used to talk Italian all the time.
Oh, yeah?
And then my sister married a Medigan. We call him a Medigan.
Medigans, right, Medigans. Yeah, right.
And then my mother had to learn English a lot more.
We had another...
We had a Medigan in the family.
We had another group down there. They were called Irish Bum. The Italian girls went out with the Irish. They had Irish Bum.
You know, I can remember on front of the restaurant over on Main Street where a guy called one of the Italians a wop.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a fight outside. It was right next to where the electric company used to be. Niagara Mohawk, you paid your bill.
Yeah.
What was the name of that restaurant that that was a new restaurant they built?
Niagara Mohawk was up the hill.
No, they were right on Main Street, right next to the diner that's there now. That stone building or masonry building. Well, anyway, this guy got whipped something terrible. I was just a little guy, but I remember that. I can't think of the restaurant. It was a fairly new restaurant that was built, Italian only.
Not the tavern?
The tavern.
That was Stevens had it then. One of the Stevens had it. There's Mrs. Arduini. Huh? How you doing?
Yes, I'm
I see
doing
your
good.
son. Your son is on
Yes,
Facebook
I know
all the
it.
time.
I know. He
Lucian.
told me, Lucian. And then you make the polenta. You remember we met at
Yeah, the polenta, yeah,
You
right.
make the polenta there?
Oh, yeah. Did you see the other day I made a chambot?
I know. He told me. You should.
I don't know if it came out pretty good, I thought.
Yeah.
I tried anyway.
Yes.
You got
yes.
stuff in the garden,
That's the way I do
you got to use it up. You know?
Yes.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Now, Lucian, is that his real name? Is his real name Luciano?
Luciano.
Luciano, yeah.
Yeah, but you call
Italiano.
him Sepul-
Italiano,
Lu.
yeah. He's got a French name now. It's Lucian.
Oh, that's a French. Oh, I gotta tell you.
Franchise, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. Let me get over here.
There's a lot here. A lot of good stories too.
This lady is, what, 101? 102. My God bless her. She looks younger than me. I'm 81.
You're 81?
I'm just a kid compared to her.
That's right.
But she was a Cinquanti, right?
That's right.
See, the Cinquantis live a long time, boy. They gotta, yeah. Except Jimmy didn't go that long, but
I know.
Jimmy didn't. But
I miss him.
the rest, yeah.
No, Johnny didn't either.
Yeah,
Johnny
I
died
didn't
in
know
71.
him. I knew Joe, Louis. Yeah.
Nice to come here.
Yeah. We missed you last year. You weren't here.
Yeah.
No, she was here last year. It was the year before we weren't here.
Oh yeah, man. These years go by fast then. God,
yeah.
I thought it was last year. Seems like only yesterday.
I know it. Hello.
There's my buddy Chubby. How you doing, Chubby? They want me to do some videoing, so I got to put you on here, you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. An old Bartlett ad and a fellow classmate.
Yeah, thank you.
Remember all the guys on that street, Ronnie and Pete,
Oh, yeah.
Danny Bigwinny, all them guys that picked. Yeah. That was great. And I remember your father, Dom's Dairy. Used to hear them bottles rattling in the morning. Hi, folks. Are you? Well, guess I got quite a few people.
I hope you didn't have that on.
Well, I can, yeah, right.
I'd like to thank Butch and his staff for the 16th year of a wonderful meal and good care for us. I'd like to thank the advertisers, the Homer News, compliments of Don Ferris, the Cortland Standard, who is present today, Catherine Wild, and her photographer, WCNY Public Radio, Joy Nigro, host of Sunday's noon radio show, Chow, WXHC Radio in Homer, Mike Eves, the many businesses that donated door prizes, Louis Falso for today's videography, the Bean Pickers Committee, Ada Abate, Mary Ann McAvoy, Don Ferris, Rosa Salamino, Chris Colangeli, and Mary Ann Christofferson. And now, I'd like to say a prayer. Bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Let's eat.
We will.
Scooch Farrell.
Important stuff that we need to address. First of all, there's a couple of pictures around here of Grace Viviano. We owe her a lot of credit for starting this reunion. for being proud of her roots, not ashamed of the fact that she picked beans. A lot of people have responded over the years that, oh, I don't want anybody to know that I did that. It was honest work, and it brought a lot of income to families who needed the money. And kids, adults, all worked so that they could have money to go to school, buy clothes, books, whatever. This year we would like to remember Lena Galutz, who was a bean picker, and Tink Spies, who for the last few years had done the photography, the still photography for us. No longer with us, we're sorry to say. And again this year, at 102 years of age, we have Amelia Cinquani Parginoni. Let's give her a round. Amelia's daughter Ruth brought her here today, and we're really glad to have you here. And we hope you're here for several more years. You have good genes working for you. And I'm trying to think of what else we got to do here. That's pretty much the. One of the things that we would like to do is, and we've done it in the past, if anybody has a story they'd like to share, we had some really good ones in the past, and I don't mind hearing them again, because I probably won't remember that I heard them in the past. But new ones, stories that you may have heard since the last time we were here. I know that as I meet people and over the year, they tell me that, oh yeah, so-and-so did such and such, and I don't know where Steve Robinson had a good one here a couple of years ago. It was his first time coming to a Bean Pickers reunion, and he wowed the crowd. At this time, we're going to be bringing the food out soon, and when we do, we'll start with, Sandy said she'd start with this table first. But until the food comes out, if anybody has something that they would like to share with us, I'm sorry I can't bring the microphone any much farther than I am now, but if you would come up and just share with us. Don't be bashful, we're all...
Oh, step right up so we can hear you.
I think you can talk louder.
Go ahead over there.
Please come up. Please come up.
I'll take my time because I had surgery.
Okay, speak right into the microphone.
Okay. I came from the Shacks. I don't think anyone here did, but I was at the Shacks, and John Nappa was my uncle. He owned the store there. Well, we had bathrooms in the back that pushed up in the back, and this young boy, he was about maybe 13, 14, he used to always come when the girls were on the toilet, and he used to pick up the things and look at them. Then when they come out, he'd laugh. Well, one day the girls got quite upset with this, so they said, we're all going to get together and we're going to hide. A couple of you, if you can, go on the toilet. So they did. They went on the toilet, and of course, now my uncle we had a private bathroom, so he never bothered that one. But he always would go, lift it up, and he would look up, and when the girls came out, he'd laugh at them. Well, this one time, like I said, the girls were a little upset, so they said, we're going to hide. Now, two of you go in, but they went with their clothes on. So anyway, when he opened it up, he looked in, the girls came out and threw him in. Well, they had to call the toilet men to come out and get him out. So they did. And from then on, guess what they used to call him? Philip? I said, yes, you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to remind everybody here, if you know of someone who was a bean picker, they're getting few and far between, but who is a relative or a descendant who has stories, we would like to have them, like to be able to share them. And Mrs. Hempson, would you come up, please? Would you tell us what you're doing, please?
Okay, I have an excerpt if you want to. I can cite the pages. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. My parents were bean pickers in the Utica area. We have relations with the Cifanelli family, so we've had the Utica family and the Cortland family all picked beans in different places. But as I grew up, I listened to my aunts and uncles and grandparents and parents about the bean picking days. I had like 23 cousins, and they would all be running around, and I would be sitting there next to the adults listening to their stories because I just found them so fascinating. And what I noticed was that it either made you or broke you. I mean, my mother absolutely hated it. She hated what it did to her. She never went outside as a result, as an older person when she was a mom. She was never one of those moms that went outside because she hated the outdoors so much. The lice would get in her hair, and her mother would have to use kerosene to get the lice out of her hair, and she just hated it. But my aunt, my father's sister, said it made me tough, it made me strong, you know, and it just built my character, you know. So it's interesting that the perspectives were so different on their experiences, and that's one of the things that I learned. So it is.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the pizza's out and the beans are here. So let's start with this table, as Sandy has so declared.
This is what I like. Tomatoes and cucumber salad. Some kinds of pizza.
Do you want me to help you with?
Great calzone. Of course, we gotta have beans, green and yellow. Everybody's digging in.
Until talking about this, but I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know I qualified. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that means that if you were 10 years old in 1950, you would be 50, 60, something, you'd be 80 years old. The last people you get would be in their 80s.
That's me. I'm 81.
Yeah, be 80 years old.
No, they were living on Bartlett Street at the time. And then that whole block, just about everybody went picking.
This guy, I can't believe he's going to be 90 years old. January.
First of the year. Thank you.
We should all be so lucky.
I know.
Years in World War II, yes, they'd slow down and turn and go up South Ave to go over to the canning factory on Squire Street. When they slowed down, I was too small, but the older guys would go out and they'd grab armfuls of pea vines off the truck, and we'd sit and eat fresh peas.
We did that on Pomeroy Street. You wait for the light to turn red. Then you hear them brakes screeching, you know, because the guy was trying to beat the light, but he had to stop. And then we all run out from behind the house. My friend Jack got the spading fork one time and jammed it in there. unloosened the whole thing, man. Half of it fell off on the ground. We had to go up to the next block and help them put them all back up there again.
Okay, first name is Tony, last name Camillo.
Tony Camillo.
Right over here. For Applebee's. Uh-oh. Okay.
We didn't get
It says you got to share this with your brother, Marianne McAvoy. You don't really have to share it with your brother.
I could just give it to him.
That's your choice.
Thank you. Do you like Applebee's?
I didn't think I would win because I don't have any tickets in there.
No, she puts all their names in.
Oh.
You might still win.
But I wasn't a good picker.
You weren't a good picker?
I wasn't a good pick being no. I made enough to pay for my lunch. But anytime there was a swimming hole nearby, I made sure I went to pick beans that day. As long as Pepper Nose didn't catch us. Remember Pepper Nose?
Turkey.
Yeah.
Pepper Nose was the foreman. Was he the foreman or the head
He
of
was the boss.
He was the boss of the
One of
pickers.
the bosses.
From Scranton.
From Scranton, PA. Steve Robinson. Yeah. You thought I was going to forget about you today, huh? You picked for what, 3 days?
I don't know how he does this to me every year. I've only been here 3 years, but I didn't really pick many beans or peas. I must have been 11 or 12. We lived over the shop at that time, which was the corner of Squires and Delaware. Since the factory was right down the street, the truck came up and around the corner, and it was always be full of adults and kids, and they'd be singing and having a good time. Same way when they came home, usually. So I thought I had to try it. I wanted to do it. I got my mother to give me a sandwich, and I stood on the corner, and the truck stopped. I got on and went. Well, it was a different experience than I really anticipated. I can tell you that. So, well, I thought, gee, that's kind of scary here. These older women, I don't understand them right from the get-go. They didn't seem to understand me either. And I took a lot of orders. So I thought, well, I'll try it one more day. So I went back the next day, stood on the corner, truck stopped, I got on, went out in the field with the rest of them, and that was it. Those old ladies, they just scared the hell out of me. I decided this was not for me, and I'm pretty sure I was 16 when I went to work in the factory, and I worked on the cannery, and that's how I happened to be here today, thanks to Don. I made the mistake of telling them that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Steve didn't tell you the one about working in the canning factory, and we'll let it go at this time. Next year we'll get him to tell us about working in the canning factory and buying beer for the older guy.
It's 75 cents an hour, though.
75 cents an hour. That was big wages.
That was a lot.
That was minimum wage back then. 75 cents.
We need to give some. Okay. Lightning strikes twice. Ruth Parginoni.
Whoa!
Paul Seepy. Paul's here. Yeah, Doug's fish fry. Paul Seepy.
the bean pickers that I know and remember were either East Enders or South Enders. I happen to be a South Ender. Yay! We used to congregate, and where the Halstead trucks used to pick us up at 7 o'clock in the morning on the corner of Pine Street, and Jim's parents owned a store on the corner. We would congregate there about 7 o'clock in the morning, and we would from there go to Bartlett or Hyatt Street and pick up the people. And I think I started picking beans when I was about 12 years old. My sister went before me because she was older, and my brother Rocky was next in line, and then me. And of course they would tell me what to do. One thing about going, as I remember, we would bring a lunch, and being poor at the time, very poor, our parents would let us go to the store and pick up any little goodies that we would want to take with us. And I remember they used to have the little round coconut cookies, snowballs they would call them, or little pies, individual pies. Well, I guess my sister was in charge of that, and she would always pick what she liked. And my brother, Rocky, was getting upset because there were little pies all the time. And I remember him getting the pie and just throwing it at my sister because he said, no more pies. The money that we got from picking beans, we would always give it to our father. And what he did was buy cold, we used to have a cold furnace, and he would put that money towards the coal that they would get for the year. Or we would get new clothes for school. And we were happy to do that. We had a lot of fun because of friends our age picking beans. We would, I remember, because there weren't that many from the South End. They were more East Enders. And I remember the Seepies, the Alteris, the Testas. We would all get together at lunch. Josephine Ferranti. We would sing. We had lots of fun. We really did. We enjoyed going. I remember the older ladies. There were a lot of old ladies that used to pick beans, and most of them were from the East End. And they would come and they would wear what they used to wear all the time was long black dresses. And they would come, they would get on the trucks when they picked us up with a round bushel basket, the half baskets. And they would put their lunch in there and some other things. And they would fill those baskets. When they left, we left, they would have those baskets full. And what they used to do is bring the beans home with all the beans they could fit in there every day and fill the beans. And at the time, you know, I think they'd go home and eat it. They probably couldn't eat any more beans. They probably canned them or something. But I remember that. There were so many things that I remember. I really can't tell you all. The girls would, the people from Scranton, of course there were always a lot of young men there, and we would intermingle with the people from Scranton, and they would kind of pair up. We would pair up. At night, we used to walk to the shacks, and they would have parties there every night at the shacks. And some of the, I believe there are people in Cortland that ended up marrying people from Scranton. I remember the Kaji girl, and Pinello, And so really, you know, it was an almost everyday occurrence in the summer, and from one year to the other, you were waiting for them to come back. And it was fun, and it was work, but we enjoyed it.
Thank you. Chris, just before you leave, do you remember how much you got paid?
Yeah. When we went picking beans, like I say, it was around 12, and it wasn't even a penny an ounce. And by the time we left, or I stopped picking beans, it got to almost 2 cents a pound. And like I say, when you weighed your beans, you put them in a sack, go up to the cart where there was a scale, and I remember Vic Podgy used to be the guy in charge of weighing the beans, and you would get a little ticket, and it would say how many pounds you had, and you kept that for the end of the year when you used to go to Halstead and cash in whatever you made.
Did you put any rocks in that sack?
I never did. Well, maybe my brother Rocky might have.
That's probably how he got the name.
Maybe.
That's how he got his nickname, Rocky?
I don't think so, but it could have been. When you picked beans, you would go down the aisles and you would put them in a little basket or a pail. You'd fill that, go back and put it in a bigger bin. And you would fill that. As you did, sometimes, from what I understand, I never did it, you would get a rock and stick it in the middle. And that made, added a few pounds to your bag. And then the bags, the sacks, the trucks would come in, and they would load those bags and take them to the canning factory, dump them on the conveyor belts, and then they had ladies working on the conveyor belts and cooking the beans before they go into the cans. And I remember that because my mom, she never really worked outside of the home except during the canning season. She was one of the ladies that would snip the beans, and I would go up there. You know people that did? I know my mother did. Did you?
I worked in the canning factory.
You did. Yeah. And
whenever we used to find the beans, they were really nice and fat, Everybody used to take a big bunch of them.
Oh, really? I just pick beans. Now, my husband worked in Homer, and he worked with the peas, I believe, and beans. But I didn't know anything about the Homer canning factory.
That's what
But
I worked.
you went to Homer.
I worked with the first year at Cortland.
And
I work Homer all the
yeah.
time. I used to like Homer. I don't know why.
And they had shacks there, and
oh yeah,
you probably know, recently they got rid of where the shacks were in Homer.
Yeah,
Down where the circus house is?
Behind the circus house across the river. Conteno's junkyard most recently before that. But, in the 40s and 50s, there were shacks where the migrant pickers lived.
just one stove outside. And then, first come, first served. They used to go,
The Ingersolls were our owners with the Halsteads. They were related. And I went to school with Bobby Ingersoll. So, I just know
Batteries gonna
Ingersoll's
run out of this.
Halstead. And I'm not sure about Homer.
Yeah.
That was the David Harum canning factory. I remember there's some articles out in the lobby.
there was a nice over there.
But it was a lot of fun.
There was a lot of people from Pennsylvania.
There were a lot of people from Pennsylvania. Scranton, yeah.
They were all nice family. And they're the first picking, they would go back 3 times in the same field. And the first picking, if you ever lived, was great. They were nice, green, fresh beans. And then the second picking, they would start to turn. And sometimes you went back 3 times to the same field. And the fields were all over Cortland.
East Side Bakery, and it's going to an East Sider, Chris Colangeli. Don't share it with Don, Chris. Just take it. It's all for you. And what else we got, Sandy? Okay, the Elm Street Emporium. What is that? Oh, hair salon. Okay. Oh, that wouldn't be any good for me, so don't pick my name. Dolores Heller. You have to excuse me, I don't know a lot of people by name. I recognize. No, I grew up in the South End. We didn't learn a lot down there. All I knew is if your name ended in a vowel, you were Italian. Got one from PNC. PNC Fresh. That's a gift certificate for $25, something like that. Gift card. And Chris Alloy. Okay. Yeah. You're welcome. We got another lottery ticket. This is guaranteed to be a winner until you scratch it off. Then we never know. Irene Perfetti. Oh wow! That table's got all the winners over there. She's the one that counted the money coming in, so. Dean Fox. Okay. Boy, that table cleaned us out.
That's the table you used to sit at.
Enjoy each other's company. Tell each other stories. They don't have to be true, but just, well, you know, you can embellish. They don't have to be true, and who's going to know the difference most of the time?
If anyone has a story that they'd like to share but don't want to get up here and tell it, please have a chat with Catherine Wild from the Cortland Standard. I'm sure she'd be interested.
Also, if you know somebody who does not attend this function, but has an interest, they don't have to have been bean pickers, but we would like to have anybody that still is alive that was a bean picker participate, but even children, grandchildren who have an interest in this endeavor that a lot of people had. You heard stories today about how families survived by this honest work, and there was nothing bad about honest work. I better not shut up anymore. I'm going to get political. Honest work is what this country needs again. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you all for coming. Be looking for calls from Marianne and Ada and Sandy, Marianne, all the organizing committee. Be looking for, and if you have any suggestions, any ideas to help improve, let them know. They'll be glad to hear your ideas. They'd even be happier to put you on the committee, but it wouldn't be a requirement. But again, thank you for coming. Have a good afternoon, and have a good safe trip back home, whether it's short distance or long distance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you, Lori. See you,
Yeah.
Mary Ann.
Hey.
Goodbye.
Take
So
care.
glad you came and you got lucky.
She did, didn't she?
Good. Good. Did you enjoy?
Very nice. Very good time.
He said he was a soccer. Tulio person.
You know,
Still working.
when we got to, we brought it. No, we brought the car. We never sent it back in either. She brought a car.
It was nice, Fred came right over to us.
Nobody can understand.
You need to go down there.
No, they named me when the car had to go.
Drop the girls off and
The way she speaks so hard, and I call her Cecily.
right away.
I said, you know, Cecily, it's a girl that you made your life.
That's nice.
I said, if you can understand.
Well, everything's wrapping up for another year. Still a little food left. Sparrow. Hi again, Steve. "92 years old, 90 years old."
So she just,
Did he walk okay after that?
The house, he had the house built.
Right. But
the house looks the same. It's a house.
Hi, Mary. Good. Big Chifinelli got here late. There's the one we all have too. Getting together.
That wasn't in your way, was it?
Thank you, Grace.